In today's modern dating world, men often underestimate the psychological triggers that can make a woman genuinely miss them. Too often, men chase, overinvest, and lay all their cards on the table too soon, only to end up pushing her away. But what if you could flip the script? What if you could tap into proven psychological tactics that naturally draw her to you and make her feel your absence so deeply that she starts craving your presence? This isn't about playing games. It's about understanding how attraction works on a deeper psychological level. Women don't miss men who are always available. They miss men who create emotional highs and lows, who are confident enough to let her wonder about them, and who keep her intrigued by maintaining mystery and emotional depth. To achieve this, you don't need to act out of character or manipulate anyone. Instead, you need to master specific behaviors and mindsets that subtly communicate value, independence, and self-respect, all of which make you impossible to forget. When you know how to position yourself as a man of high value, you shift the power dynamic in your favor. A woman starts to associate you with positive feelings and curiosity, and she begins to feel the loss when you're not around. This isn't about trying harder, it's about doing less, but doing it in a way that has a massive psychological impact. In this video, I'll share 7 psychological tricks that will make any woman miss you badly. These are not gimmicks, but tried and true tactics, rooted in human behavior and emotional attraction. Pay close attention, because once you master these, you'll never have to chase or beg for attention again. She'll be the one chasing you. Let's dive in. 1. The power of absence. How creating space makes her miss you. One of the most effective psychological tactics to make a woman miss you is mastering the power of absence. When you're always available, whether it's answering her texts immediately, constantly asking her to hang out, or flooding her with attention, you unconsciously lower your value. Scarcity creates value, and absence makes the heart grow fonder. This doesn't mean ignoring her altogether. It means strategically creating space for her to notice your absence and wonder about you. Here's why it works. Humans are wired to want what they can't fully have. When you're always present, there's no room for mystery, anticipation, or excitement to build. On the flip side, when you're occasionally unavailable, it forces her to reflect on how much she enjoys your presence. It gives her the chance to realize the emotional void you fill when you're around. To implement this effectively, start by balancing your availability. If she texts you, don't feel the need to respond instantly every time. Take your time, not out of malice, but to subtly communicate that your world doesn't revolve around her. You're a man with a life, goals, and purpose outside of the relationship. This conveys high value and independence, which women find irresistibly attractive. Another way to create space is by being the one to end interactions first, whether it's ending a phone call, leaving a date, or wrapping up a conversation. When you leave on a high note, she's left wanting more. It plants the seed of curiosity and longing in her mind, making her replay the moments you shared together. Remember, it's not about playing hard to get, it's about being hard to forget. By creating scarcity, you're giving her the opportunity to miss you, which is a fundamental element of deep emotional attraction. 2. Triggering emotional memories. The key to staying on her mind. One of the most effective psychological tricks to make a woman miss you is to leave an emotional imprint on her memory. Women are deeply emotional creatures, and they don't just remember what you did, they remember how you made them feel. If you can create emotional moments that are uniquely tied to you, she'll find herself replaying them in her mind, even when you're not around. To do this, focus on creating positive emotional highs. For instance, instead of a typical dinner date, try something unexpected and exciting. Take her to an amusement park, a rooftop with a stunning view, or introduce her to something new, like a hidden restaurant or a hobby you're passionate about. These kinds of moments stand out from the usual routine interactions and become mental bookmarks for her. When she thinks back on those experiences, she'll automatically connect those feelings of excitement, fun, or joy with you. Another critical aspect of emotional memory is surprise. Predictability may feel safe, but it doesn't leave a lasting impression. Subtle unpredictability, like surprising her with a thoughtful gesture or an impromptu plan, can create an emotional spike that lingers in her mind. For example, instead of saying, "Let's grab coffee," you could say, "Meet me here, I've got something cool planned for us." That kind of intrigue not only keeps her curious, but also makes her associate you with excitement and spontaneity. Equally important is creating moments of emotional vulnerability. This doesn't mean spilling your heart out, but letting her see glimpses of your authentic self. Maybe you share a personal story that shaped who you are, or let her in on your ambitions and values. These deeper connections set you apart from other men who may only focus on surface-level conversations. The key here is balance. Be vulnerable enough to connect, but mysterious enough to keep her intrigued. However, it's not just about what happens when you're with her, it's also about what happens when you're not. Emotional hooks are essential for making her miss you. These are the subtle reminders of you that she stumbles upon in her daily life. For instance, introduce her to a song, a specific type of coffee, or even a phrase that becomes your thing. When she hears or sees these, they'll trigger memories of you, making it impossible for her to fully forget about you. But here's the real magic. After creating those powerful emotional memories, you need to step back. Give her space to reflect on those experiences. If you're constantly texting her or trying to initiate contact, it dilutes the impact of those emotional highs. Pulling back allows her to feel the absence of those moments, which makes her crave them even more. This is where self-discipline comes into play. Lastly, when you do reach out, reference those memories subtly. A text like, "I heard that song we played the other night. Still can't believe how well you knew the lyrics," is infinitely more powerful than a generic, "How's your day?" It's a reminder of the bond you've created and keeps you at the forefront of her thoughts. Triggering emotional memories isn't about manipulation. It's about creating meaningful experiences and letting her see the value you bring to her life. When done right, it ensures that she'll not only miss you, but also long to relive those moments with you. 3. Mastering the art of mystery. Keep her guessing. If you want a woman to miss you badly, one of the most effective strategies is mastering the art of mystery. Predictability kills attraction, while mystery fuels curiosity and intrigue. When you're an open book, she knows exactly what to expect from you, which leaves little room for her imagination to roam. But when you keep her guessing, you create an irresistible pull that keeps her thinking about you, even when you're not around. To cultivate mystery, start by resisting the urge to overshare. Many men make the mistake of laying all their cards on the table too soon, hoping that complete transparency will deepen the connection. While openness has its place, timing is everything. Don't reveal too much about yourself in the early stages. Let her earn that access gradually. For example, instead of immediately telling her your entire life story or daily routine, share only snippets that hint at a larger, more complex narrative. Say something intriguing like, "I'll tell you the story behind that someday," and then leave it at that. She'll be curious and eager to know more, which naturally keeps her mind on you. Another way to maintain mystery is by being less available. This doesn't mean ghosting her or playing games. It means showing that you're a man who values his time and has other priorities. If you're always at her beck and call, she'll start taking your presence for granted. But if you occasionally decline plans because you're busy pursuing your goals or spending time with friends, it signals that you're not dependent on her for validation. This independence is magnetic. It shows her that you have a full life, and she'll start wondering where she fits into it. A critical aspect of mystery is being unpredictable in your actions. Most men fall into routines, texting at the same time every day, using the same phrases, or always sticking to the same date ideas. While consistency has its merits, too much of it makes you boring. Instead, mix things up. Skip a day of texting here and there, plan a surprise outing, or change your usual tone in a conversation. These small changes disrupt patterns and keep her on her toes. The unpredictability triggers emotional highs and lows, making her more invested in figuring you out. Another powerful tactic is to remain emotionally composed. When she doesn't fully know what you're thinking or how deeply you feel about her, it creates a sense of uncertainty that fuels intrigue. This doesn't mean being cold or distant, but rather maintaining an air of calm confidence. If she tries to push for your emotions or reactions, respond with a slight smile and say something like, "I guess you'll just have to figure me out." This playful approach keeps her engaged while subtly reinforcing your mystery. Finally, avoid being overly active on social media. If you're constantly posting about your day, your whereabouts, or your thoughts, there's no mystery left for her to unravel. Instead, limit what you share online, post selectively, and let your real-life interactions carry the weight of your connection. Mystery isn't about deception or manipulation. It's about pacing the flow of information and maintaining intrigue. When she doesn't have the full picture of who you are or what you're thinking, her mind will fill in the blanks. And the more she thinks about you, the more she'll start to miss you. 4. Building anticipation. Make her look forward to hearing from you. Building anticipation is one of the most underrated psychological tricks to make a woman miss you. When you master the ability to create excitement and eagerness for your next interaction, you solidify your presence in her mind. Women don't miss men who are predictable or readily accessible at all times. Instead, they crave men who leave them with a sense of what's next. This tactic focuses on making every interaction purposeful and impactful so that she eagerly awaits the next one. To begin, avoid constant communication. Many men believe that being in constant contact will deepen a connection, but it often has the opposite effect. If you're texting her all day, every day, there's no space for her to miss you. The key here is quality over quantity. When you do reach out, make sure your interactions are meaningful and leave her smiling, thinking, or wondering about you. A thoughtful, engaging message like, "I just remembered something hilarious from last weekend. Can't wait to tell you about it," is far more effective than generic small talk. Timing also plays a crucial role in building anticipation. Instead of responding instantly to every message, take your time. This doesn't mean ignoring her for hours to play games, but creating natural pauses in communication allows her to wonder when you'll respond and keeps her invested in the conversation. For example, if she texts you after a great date, wait a little while before responding with something charming, like, "I'm still smiling from earlier. Did you have as much fun as I did?" This delayed response not only builds suspense, but also keeps the emotional high from your interaction alive. Additionally, end your conversations or dates on a high note. People remember the beginning and end of experiences more vividly than the middle, so leaving her with a lasting impression is critical. For instance, if you're on a phone call, wrap it up just as the energy is peaking. Say something like, "I'd love to keep talking, but I have to run. Let's pick this up soon." This approach leaves her wanting more and looking forward to your next conversation. Creating rituals or inside jokes also builds anticipation. If there's something unique that only the two of you share, a special way of saying goodbye, a quirky nickname, or a shared playlist, it becomes something she associates with you. Every time she thinks about that ritual or joke, she'll think about you, and it will create a positive emotional loop in her mind. Another powerful way to build anticipation is to occasionally tease future plans without revealing all the details. For example, you might say, "I've got something fun in mind for us next week. You'll love it." This simple statement builds curiosity and excitement without giving too much away. She'll find herself thinking about what you've planned, which keeps her mentally engaged with you. Finally, remember that absence amplifies desire. If you've been in frequent contact, step back for a day or two. This break from communication creates a void, making her realize how much she enjoys hearing from you. When you reappear, the excitement will be even greater. By building anticipation, you shift the dynamic in your favor. She'll start to value every moment with you and look forward to your next move. When done correctly, this tactic keeps you at the forefront of her thoughts and ensures that she misses you whenever you're not around. 5. The push-pull dynamic. Keep her emotionally hooked. One of the most powerful psychological strategies to make a woman miss you is mastering the push-pull dynamic. This method involves alternating between moments of connection and withdrawal, which creates an emotional roller coaster that keeps her invested. The push-pull dynamic works because it mirrors the natural ebb and flow of attraction. When applied effectively, it sparks curiosity, heightens desire, and ensures she's always thinking about you. The push is when you show her genuine interest, engage with her emotionally, and make her feel desired. The pull is when you temporarily withdraw that attention, creating space and leaving her wondering about your intentions. Striking the right balance between these two phases is crucial. Too much push can make you come across as clingy or predictable, while too much pull might lead her to lose interest. The key is creating a rhythm that keeps her guessing while maintaining authenticity. For example, during the push phase, be fully present and attentive when you're with her. Compliment her, engage in deep conversations, and make her feel special. This creates an emotional high, reinforcing her attraction to you. Then, as things are going well, enter the pull phase. This doesn't mean ghosting her or playing cruel games. It simply means pulling back slightly to let her feel the absence of your attention. You might wait longer to reply to her texts, take a day off from initiating contact, or politely decline plans because you're busy with your own goals. Here's why it works. Humans crave resolution, and the push-pull dynamic creates emotional tension that she'll want to resolve. When you're fully present, she feels a sense of connection and satisfaction. But when you pull back, It creates a contrast that makes her yearn for the emotional high she felt during the push phase. This back and forth keeps her emotionally engaged and wanting more. To master this tactic, avoid extremes. Don't shower her with compliments and attention, only to disappear for days without explanation. Instead, keep your pull phase subtle and intentional. For instance, if you've been texting consistently for a few days, scale back and focus on your own life for a short period. If she asks why you've been quieter, you can respond with something confident yet nonchalant like, "I've been caught up with a few things, but I was just about to reach out." This shows that you have your own priorities while subtly reassuring her of your interest. Another way to use the push-pull dynamic is during interactions. Playfully tease her or challenge her opinions in a way that sparks light-hearted banter. For example, if she shares her favorite movie, you might jokingly say, "That's your favorite? I'm not sure if I can trust your taste anymore." This push builds attraction by creating playful tension, while the pull comes from your calm confidence in not needing to agree with her to gain her approval. The beauty of the push-pull dynamic is that it's not about manipulation, it's about creating balance and keeping the spark alive. By showing her that you're interested but not entirely predictable, you remain a challenge, which makes you even more intriguing. When done right, the push-pull dynamic ensures she'll miss you during those moments of withdrawal, eagerly awaiting the next time you reconnect. 6. Creating emotional highs and lows, the secret to lasting impressions. To make a woman miss you deeply, you must engage her emotions in a way that leaves a lasting impact. Emotional highs and lows are powerful psychological triggers that make interactions with you unforgettable. People tend to remember experiences that evoke strong feelings, both positive and negative. When you create these emotional waves intentionally and respectfully, you occupy her thoughts long after your interactions. One way to achieve this is by using humor and vulnerability in tandem. For example, share a funny or light-hearted story that gets her laughing, followed by a deeper, more vulnerable moment. This combination keeps the interaction dynamic and unpredictable, making her feel connected to you on multiple levels. Laughter triggers positive feelings, while vulnerability creates emotional intimacy. The result is a roller coaster of emotions that makes her associate you with depth and excitement. Playful teasing is another effective tool for creating emotional highs and lows. When done correctly, teasing creates tension that is both fun and stimulating. For instance, if she mentions a habit or interest, you might respond with a light-hearted jab like, "Oh, so you're one of those people who drinks pumpkin spice lattes in July?" Follow it up with a genuine compliment later, like, "But honestly, I admire how you own your quirks." The teasing keeps her on her toes, while the compliment reassures her of your interest. This balance between push and pull makes her feel emotionally engaged. Surprises are also an excellent way to create emotional highs. Plan an unexpected outing, send her a small but meaningful gift, or spontaneously compliment something unique about her. For instance, you could say, "I noticed how you light up when you talk about your passions. It's inspiring." These moments catch her off guard in the best way and linger in her memory. On the flip side, subtle emotional lows can amplify the highs. This doesn't mean being cruel or manipulative. It's about temporarily creating a sense of absence or mystery. For example, if you've been spending a lot of time together, take a step back for a day or two to focus on yourself. This brief pull makes her notice your absence, and when you re-engage, it heightens the emotional impact of your return. She'll feel a renewed excitement when you reconnect, appreciating your presence even more. Another key tactic is to share stories or experiences that evoke strong emotions. People bond over shared emotional experiences, whether it's a moving story, a thrilling adventure, or even a challenging situation. When you create these moments together, she'll associate you with the intensity of those feelings. For example, invite her to try something adventurous, like rock climbing or a spontaneous road trip, or share a personal story that reveals a deeper layer of who you are. These experiences become anchors in her memory, making her long for more moments like them with you. Finally, practice emotional consistency in the way you respond to her. While you want to create highs and lows, you also want her to feel secure in knowing that you're not volatile or unreliable. Emotional highs and lows are about the richness of experience, not instability. Always balance the unpredictability of your actions with the steadiness of your character. By crafting these emotional highs and lows, you create a vivid, memorable connection that keeps her emotionally hooked. She'll find herself replaying those moments in her mind, missing the unique way you make her feel. 7. Focus on your own life, the magnetic pull of self-sufficiency. One of the most effective psychological tricks to make a woman miss you is shifting the focus away from her and prioritizing your own life. Women are naturally drawn to men who exude purpose, ambition, and independence. When you're fully engaged in building the best version of yourself, you become a magnet for her attention because you radiate confidence and self-sufficiency. She begins to feel that being with you is a privilege, not a given, and this realization makes her miss you when you're not around. To apply this tactic effectively, start by dedicating time to your passions and personal growth. Whether it's advancing your career, hitting the gym, traveling, or mastering a skill, these pursuits show her that you're a man with a mission. A man who is actively improving his life signals that he has options and standards, which makes him far more attractive. When you're truly engaged in your own life, you naturally become less available, and this absence will create a sense of longing in her. She'll start wondering what you're up to, and more importantly, why she isn't part of it. Your social circle also plays a crucial role in building this sense of self-sufficiency. Surround yourself with positive, ambitious people who uplift and challenge you. Not only does this improve your quality of life, but it also demonstrates that you're not reliant on her for emotional support or companionship. Women are drawn to men who have strong networks because it reflects high social value. If she knows you have a life full of interesting people and activities, she'll crave a spot in it. Another key element is being clear about your boundaries and priorities. A man who values himself doesn't rearrange his life at the drop of a hat to accommodate someone else. For example, if she asks to meet but you've already planned to work on a personal project or spend time with friends, politely decline. Say something like, "I'd love to see you, but I've already got plans tonight. Let's figure something out soon." This response communicates that while you're interested, your life doesn't revolve around her, which makes you more intriguing. Social media can also be a subtle tool to show her how fulfilling your life is without overdoing it. Instead of posting mundane updates or trying to prove how great your life is, share moments that genuinely reflect your passions and achievements. Whether it's a snapshot of a new project you're working on, a scenic view from a hike, or a group photo with friends, these posts give her a glimpse into your vibrant life without explicitly seeking her attention. Being purpose-driven is another significant aspect of focusing on your own life. When you have a clear vision of where you're headed, it's not just attractive, it's inspiring. Share your goals and dreams when appropriate, but let your actions speak louder than words. When she sees that you're actively working towards something meaningful, she'll respect and admire you more. Finally, practice emotional independence. While it's important to connect with her emotionally, avoid becoming overly reliant on her for validation or happiness. Be confident in who you are, and let her know that while you enjoy her company, your happiness isn't dependent on it. This balanced approach shows her that you're a man who can stand on his own, making her appreciate and miss your presence even more. When you focus on your own life, you create an aura of self-respect and ambition that's impossible to ignore. She'll begin to associate you with excitement, growth, and stability, and the thought of not being part of your journey will make her miss you deeply. By implementing these psychological tricks, you'll position yourself as a man who is captivating, confident, and ultimately unforgettable. Women are drawn to men who keep them guessing, create emotional highs, and, most importantly, have fulfilling lives of their own. By mastering mystery, anticipation, and emotional dynamics, and prioritizing your personal growth, you will cultivate an irresistible pull that makes her miss you even when you're not around. Remember, the key is not manipulation, but fostering genuine attraction through independence, emotional depth, and purposeful interactions. When you apply these principles, she won't be able to stop thinking about you.